Welcome, my dear students. Today we are going to talk about paper 5 of Modern Office Practice Management, and the paper covers entrepreneurship development. So today's talking will be about the basic concept of entrepreneurship, what are the characteristics of an entrepreneur. Then we'll try and look at different types of entrepreneurs. We'll look at the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. And if you want to become an entrepreneur, then what are the steps you need to remember and follow? But eventually we'll try and wrap up with the different barriers to entrepreneurship. So let's start today's session, my dear students, on entrepreneurship development. So what exactly is the concept of entrepreneurship? So it derived from a French word which means to undertake. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, I think we start off with the word called to undertake something. So when we talk about this, a true entrepreneur is a doer, not just a dreamer. Because if you just dream and don't implement, don't start anything, then you are never going to become a successful entrepreneur. So mind you, a true entrepreneur is a doer. You have to have some kind of action and not just dream. So when we talk about entrepreneurship development, the most important question is about the emergence. So when we talk about emergence, the concept of entrepreneurship was first established in the 1700s. So if you see, today is 21st century. We are talking in 2017. So it has evolved over the years. The meaning has evolved ever since. So many simply equate it with starting one's own business. So if you are starting your own business, so probably many says that yes, you are an entrepreneur. But when we talk about it from the economist point of view, to some economists, the entrepreneur is one who is willing to bear the risk of a new venture. So it's somebody who is willing to take the risk of a new venture if there is a significant chance for profit. Mind you, when we talk about business, when we talk about marketing, when we talk about entrepreneurship, it is not charity. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, it is somebody who is willing to take the risk of a new venture as well as if there is significant chance for profit. According to famous management guru and expert Peter Drucker. So Peter Drucker described entrepreneurs as someone who actually search for change, respond to it, and exploit change as an opportunity. Mind you, resistance to change is a common human phenomenon. But according to Peter Drucker, an entrepreneur is somebody who actually look for change. He respond to it and then exploit change as an opportunity. So don't think that change is something which is a problem. Treat it as something which is an opportunity. Because in every problem you'll see there is an opportunity hidden. So when we talk about entrepreneurship development, this is a basic concept. So what exactly is the concept of entrepreneurship? One who organizes, who manages and assumes the risk of a business or enterprise. So this is somebody who is actually managing, who is actually organizing as well as assuming the risk of a business or enterprise. So this is somebody who is really very risk taking. So when we talk about entrepreneurship spirit, it is characterized by different qualities. The first obviously will be about innovation and risk taking. So what do we understand by innovation and risk taking? There is a saying that if you don't take risk, then there are no chances of gain. But mind you, it should not be just arbitrary. It should be calculated risk. So when we talk about qualities of an entrepreneur, the first one is about innovation and risk taking. Now, it is an essential part of a nation's ability to succeed in an ever-changing and increasingly competitive global marketplace. So, innovation is a need of the hour. You talk about consumer durable product, say for example, a mobile handset. There also over the years, if you see, it has gone through a lot of innovation. If you talk about your personal computer, a desktop or a laptop, it has also evolved. It has gone through a lot of innovations. So, this is something what we were talking about. Now, entrepreneurship development, when we try and look, we have to understand that there are different types of entrepreneurs who are there in the marketplace. The first one obviously should be called the business entrepreneur. So my dear students, you might ask me, who are called business entrepreneurs? So they conceive an idea for new product or service. Now I'll just try and elaborate a little bit about the concept of product and service. So when we distinguish between product and service, we should remember that product is something which is tangible. When we come to service, we say that service happens to be intangible. The next important characteristics of product is more or less it is standardized. So when we talk about any FMCG product, that is fast moving consumer goods, say for example a toothpaste, or for that matter maybe a shampoo. So these are things which are standardized. If you are buying for example a Hindustan Unilever brand of shampoo, then probably the same shampoo brand, whatever you are getting in your place like Kolkata will be similar to what you are getting in some other metro cities like a Delhi or a Mumbai. So product is standardized, but when it comes to service, we don't expect that much of a standardization. Another important characteristics of service is probably it cannot be stored. So service happens to be perishable. So when it comes to product, yes, we talk about FMCG product once again, so they are having some kind of an expiry date. Till that particular date, you can just have their shelf life. So when we talk about business entrepreneur, so these are people who conceive an idea for new product or service, and then they create a business to transform their idea into reality. So this is something what we say first, idea generation is the key. So once you have an idea, then you actually try and take it forward and then try and see how successfully you can implement it. The qualities and types of entrepreneurs will vary depending on the situation. So the first type of entrepreneur, my dear students, are known as business entrepreneur. So this is what I thought I'll just try and elaborate before you. The second type of entrepreneur, we call them the trading entrepreneur. Now if you look at the business concept, you see there are a lot of people. We start off with the manufacturer who actually try and manufacture a particular product. So there are a lot of people in between the final consumers and the manufacturer. So we call them the intermediaries or the middlemen. So these are people who facilitate the flow of product from the manufacturer to the final consumer like you and me. So when we talk about trading entrepreneur, they undertake only trading activities, not concerned with manufacturing. So please get this point very, very clear. So when we talk about trading entrepreneurs, so these are people who don't manufacture, but they are actually involved in the trading part of it. So what is their role? They identify potential markets and stimulate demands for his or her product line. Now you might ask me, what exactly is the concept of product line? So before addressing the concept of product line, we need to understand what exactly is the concept of product mix. So product mix is all that what a company is trying to offer to their customer. Say for example, once again, a company like FMCG giant like Hindustan Unilever, or for that matter Procter & Gamble, or even ITC. So what exactly is the concept of product mix? So when we talk about product mix of Hindustan Unilever, they are selling different kind of products. It starts from maybe some kind of a soap, shampoo. They are selling even food items like maybe a tomato sauce or maybe a jam. Along with that, they are also marketing something called a cosmetics and all. So all those things taken together becomes a product mix. Now when we talk about entrepreneurship and trading entrepreneur, and in that context when we talk about the product line, now what exactly is product line? So out of all the products which are there in the product mix, which are closely related, they become some kind of a product line, or maybe they are marketed from same type of outlet or fall in a similar price range. So those become the product line. Now the job of a trading entrepreneur here is to actually stimulate the demand for this product line. So I think we move on from here, we go to the third type of entrepreneur. These are called the industrial entrepreneur. Now what exactly is their role? They identify the needs of the customer and offer tailor-made product or services. Now nowadays we say survival for the fittest is the mantra of the game. And if you want to survive, you have to satisfy your customer. So when we talk about industrial entrepreneur, they are offering tailor-made product or services depending upon the requirement of the consumer. Now they have the ability to convert economic resources and technology into profitable venture. Say for example, if we take the example of electronic industry. So there also we see the application of industrial entrepreneur. How probably they are offering tailor-made solution for requirement of different customers. If you once again take the example of the mobile phone, there are different kind of mobile handsets in the market depending on the requirement of the customers. Some are using the keypad phone, some are using the smartphone, and probably there you will find there are different kind of features. depending on the expectation of the customer. Similarly, for the textile industry also, we are going to see this kind of a industrial entrepreneur. We move on from this, we go to the next one. This is very interesting, my dear students. We talk about the agricultural entrepreneur. Now, who are called agricultural entrepreneur? So they undertake agricultural activities such as raising and marketing of crops, fertilizers, etc. And when we talk about agricultural entrepreneur, we should remember that the concept of rural marketing has evolved over the years. So when we talk about rural marketing and there is a question of agriculture entrepreneur, we are saying that it is a two-way process. Now you might ask me, how is rural marketing a two-way process? Now first of all, what happened? Earlier we used to say that the basic products or maybe the agricultural stuff which are produced in the rural areas, these are brought to the factories and industries in the urban area. It was more or less like a one-way traffic. But now rural market is a place where all the FMCG companies and the consumer durable companies are focusing. So they are also delivering their FMCG and consumer durable product and even services to the rural consumer. So it becomes a two-way process. So when we talk about agriculture entrepreneur, they try to improve productivity by use of irrigation and application of new technology. When we talk about agriculture in Indian context, earlier it was all manual. But things have evolved and changed over the years. Now we talk about commercial farming, we talk about some kind of a use of tractors, we talk about artificial way of giving water to the land, that is irrigation. So these are all very, very important. Who can become an entrepreneur? There is no one definite profile. They differ in education and experience. But research indicates that most successful entrepreneurs, they share certain personal attributes. So what are those attributes? The first and foremost is creativity. In order to be an entrepreneur, you should always have a little bit of a creativity. And mind you, when we have creativity, it doesn't mean that we need to be a painter or a poet. You can solve day-to-day business problem by applying innovation and creativity. You can think something which others haven't thought. So that is what exactly an entrepreneur should always try and do. Dedication happens to be another important quality to become a successful entrepreneur. Day in, day out, you need to be focused. You should be dedicated. You should apply all your thoughts, your resources and all to actually see that your idea gets transformed into concrete business proposal. Determination is another important quality what is expected of an entrepreneur. And I think determination has no substitute. Come what may, you should have that kind of a determination that yes, I am going to be successful. Flexibility is another important point which we expect of an entrepreneur. You need not be very rigid in your thought process. You need not be rigid in your approach. Depending on the situation, you need to be flexible. Leadership and passions are another two important qualities which we expect from a successful entrepreneur. Above all, what is required in today's dynamic and competitive market environment is self-confidence. Now, when we talk about self-confidence, I think there are no two thoughts that yes, this differentiates an entrepreneur from a normal performer. So this is what we expect, self-confidence in an entrepreneur, because you are going to set the vision for the business, and looking at you, your employees, your team members are actually try and connect with your vision and try and perform so that the overall organization is successful. So when we talk about qualities of an entrepreneur, I think we need to remind ourselves what are the ways and means of becoming a successful entrepreneur. If you see nowadays, there are a lot of encouragement, and especially for young people like you, there are a lot of scope which the government is trying to put before you. So when we talk about the Make in India concepts and all those things, we need to understand how we can become a successful entrepreneur. There are a lot of boost, there are a lot of motivation for startups. The first important thing is to assess yourself. You should try and do some kind of assessment about your own strength, about your weaknesses, about what all opportunities are there in the environment and what all threats you can encounter. The next important thing is get your personal finances in order. So when we talk about getting your personal finances in order, we need to have some kind of introspection. Third important quality or steps required is to identify your skills. Where is your talent? You have to identify that. Where exactly are your area of expertise? So what exactly is the skill that you possess? So these are important things that we need to address. The next important thing is research the market. You have to have a thorough understanding about the market. How exactly is the market when it comes to who all are your competitors? What exactly are the consumer expecting in the market? So these are very, very useful for a would-be entrepreneur. Draw up a business plan. And I think this requires a lot of time and effort. So you need to be very, very specific and clear when you prepare your business plan, because this is something, a roadmap. This will give you a direction how to take the concept forward. Next important thing, try and find out what are your resources. So all what exactly will help you to try and successfully implement your dream into reality. So whether you possess all those resources, or maybe from where are you going to get helps and maybe some kind of a funding and all. So draw up a financial plan. The next important step is to draw up a financial plan. The next important point is business ownership structure. How exactly will your business look like? Will it be a sole proprietorship kind of a business? Are you going to join hands and have a partnership? Or you are looking for some kind of a private limited company, or maybe a limited company? So different kind of business ownership structure you need to visit, and then try and come up with one which is suitable and relevant for your organization. The next important thing, my dear student, is to understand what exactly is your enterprise choice. Are you going to start from scratch on your own, or you are going to buy an existing business? There are a lot of stories where we find that existing business which are not probably doing justice and doing well. So these are taken up by some entrepreneurs. So try and decide which one is of your interest. And last but not the least, revisit your startup plans. So don't be in a hurry. Try and take time, revisit what exactly is the situation, and then try and take a decision. But last but not the least, saying all these things, we need to come to something which is what are the barriers to entrepreneurship. And I'll try and take a liberty of referring to Professor Vesper. So when we talk about this, he has identified the following entrepreneurship barriers. The first important thing is lack of a viable concept. Often we have a lot of ideas, but those ideas need to be transformed into concrete business proposals. So lack of viable concept is something which often acts as a hindrance. Lack of market knowledge. You don't be in a hurry, as I already mentioned. Try and assess the market, do a SWOT analysis, try and do a scanning of the environment. So lack of market knowledge probably is another barrier in entrepreneurship. Third important thing is lack of technical skills. What exactly is the need of the hour? What are the technologies that you should know in order to try and launch something? So these are important points we need to understand. Lack of seed capital is another important aspect. Then comes lack of business know-how. How exactly you are going to operate? What exactly will be your business model? So those things often act as a hindrance for prospective entrepreneurs. Next important point is some kind of lack of motivation. You might like to be an entrepreneur, but hardly there is any drive from within. That urge or drive should always try and push you against all odds. So that is something missing many a times, and that is a cause of concern when it comes to barrier to entrepreneurship. Last one, I think we need to have a very, very positive mindset, because you need to overcome all obstacles. The job and the journey is not very easy. So with this, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you, my dear students, for being with me. Thank you.